and welcome back. This is Natasha. So this is my first video of 2020. So we're going to do a watercolor card here, and I'm going to be using this Stamping Bella Vienna and her Vespa stamp set. And these stamp sets are rubber stamp sets. So I'm going to bring out my stamping platform, make sure that it says rubber on it, and I put a watercolor cardstock in my stamping platform and held it down with some magnets. And then I'm gonna just pick up my stamp and I'm gonna be adding some VersaFine black ink because that is works really well with watercolors. Okay, excuse me. So I'm just gonna pull the panel closer because it is watercolor cardstock, so you can see it's very textured. I wanted to show you that. So I used the less textured side of the panel to stamp out my stamp, and then I'm going to be using distress markers on this project here and an aqua brush pen. I like this technique because it's super simple. Distress markers come in a ton of colors, and it's really easy to do to get like a blending look with the water and the distress markers. So I'm going to start off, and I am on a glass mat, the Tim Holtz glass mat, and what I did was I took my markers and I scribbled it onto my glass mat. And so what I'm using here is antique linen and vintage photo. So I'm going to be going between the two to create the skin tone for this little lady. What was her name? Vienna and her Vespa. Yeah, Vienna. So I'm just going to be creating her skin tone here, blending it. And you always want to start. I'm not a professional watercolor person, but I do love it, and I think that it brings out I can get the best results with watercolor. So you like to go in with a light hand at first. Watercolor is one of those things, and when you do it on top of watercolor paper, it's thicker. So it's one of those things where you can always apply more. So in this case, less is more, and then you can always add, because you can take watercolor, like a color away when you do watercoloring, but it's a more difficult to tone down a really vibrant color if you're going for a subtle look. So start light, and you can always add and build up color on top of the colors you already have. Okay, so I'm doing spun sugar. I'm just going to add that for her cheeks there. Perfect. And then I'm going to move on to some pumice stone. And black soot. And I'm just gonna be coloring in the little tires for her little moped here. Okay, so I feel like the rest of this is pretty self-explanatory. I show you what colors I use. I'm gonna be putting on some music here just so that you can watch along with me as I color in this little stamped stamp set. So I'm just going to put on a little bit of music, and I'll be back in a little while to go over the things that I've done. Okay, so real quick, I put my white craft mat that comes with my glass mat. I put that so that you guys can see what I'm doing with the colors and picking up the colors and transferring onto my card front. So I did forget to press record, and I colored in her hair with some Wild Honey and Vintage Photo, and then here I'm coloring in the little the moped, and I used I put a layer of tumbled glass down, and then I'm darkening it up with some broken china, and then I'm going to go in with some faded jeans. Okay, and so I'm going to put music back on again and continue. Okay, so now I basically have my whole image colored, and I ran my panel through the wonky borders dye, and then I'm gonna be watercoloring a very light background to this piece. So I took some broken china, watering it down a ton. Like I'm squeezing the barrel of my paintbrush a lot to just get a lot of water going. And then just placing a really light color for the sky. And always less is more. You can always add more if you feel like you need a darker color. Okay, and then for the ground, I'm going to be using some vintage photo and watering that down a lot. And then just placing that on the ground for the ground. And so it's a little tricky to get the two colors. Obviously, a broken china and vintage photo ink does not blend very well. So you just want to be very careful putting a light layer of the vintage photo when you're trying to blend the two colors together when you're going to make the ground into the sky part. Okay. And then when everything's dried, when my panel's dried, I did add some liquid adhesive on the little like lacy parts of her skirt. And using this iridescent glitter, I'm just going to sprinkle that onto her little skirt and knock off the excess there. And it's got some shimmer. Love the shimmer. I love it. Okay, so then when it dries, it comes out clear. Okay, so here's some still shots of the card finished. I did mount it onto a blue card base. I added a couple of sequins to the card, and I did a love word sentiment die cut out of some black cardstock, and I layered that 3 times. I also put some glossy accents on her little headlamp or headlight on the moped, and added some Wink of Stella to her skirt. So it's super shimmery and sparkly. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And here we go, 2020. I'll catch you on the next video. Mahalo.